So I've started the recording. This is, let me get that back up. It's Design 301. It's our lecture on Thursday at 1 o'clock. And away we go. Oops, hold on. Hold on, I gotta fix that up. There we go. And we are on Google Meet right now, and we're working on standards, again, drawing standards, mostly annotations, but we really covered what we needed to do with title blocks and using standards. It's pretty straightforward, and you've done your drawings already. So I wanted to give something to draw. And so I figured we'll get a little start on orthographics. Now, you don't really have to know a lot about orthographics. Often, many industries don't even use orthographics, but it's good to have it kind of in your brain and know about it a little bit. So we're going to do just a touch. And I've got my VMware open, and you see right here that there's a shape. And I can look at it this way. If I was standing over there and I looked at it that way, I'd be looking at what they call the front of it. And that's just a standard way of saying it. And if I looked at it from over here, where my arrow is, that would be the right. And if I got right straight above it and looked straight down, that would be the top view. And I wouldn't see a nice 3D object. I'd see, if you're looking straight at it, you have no depth perception at all. You see it like it's flat. And since pieces of paper are flat, that's kind of how you have to look at it. So we developed a way of drawing things using 3 different views or more, and then training our brains to look at that and translate it into this. So that's the idea of orthographics. Now, with our ability to draw 3D these days, you don't really need that so much, but it's still useful. So we're going to do a little bit. So I'm going to draw the front view, and you can see there's a line down here. I would see that. And then since it's flat, this line right here, I'd want to draw it on the piece of paper. So I'd bring it forward till it was right there. I'd bring it forward until it was on a piece of paper. See how that's flat? That's straight up and down. So that weird rectangle is this wedge. And then I do the same thing for this line. I take that line and I smush it forward. And let's see if I've got the, yep. And that's straight up and down. So it would show up there. And I have to get this right now. It's going to go all the way out to there. So it looks like 2 rectangles. And so I just have to count squares. It's 6 by 2 and 6 by 1. So when I come over here, I can put my snap on, and I can draw a line over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over, 2 up, 6 back over, and 2 down. And let me turn my line weights on. And I'll make this a little bit heavier. That's on default, right? And so if I want it to show up looking a little heavy, got to do that. And my next one is 1 tall. And what I do, I'm just drawing square to square. I'm just drawing numbers of squares. Okay, and I've set my squares. If I look over here at my grid settings, I've come in here and I've set them at 1. I don't really care. You can set them whatever you want. You're just counting squares. but I set them for 1. So that's what I would see right over here is what I would see in that front view. Now this one's really easy because it is all flat, right? This one I would see over on the right. I'm tracing it right now. So I'd see over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up 3, over 2, down 1, and back to the beginning. Now, where do we put that? It's the right side view, so I'm going to put it on the right. And I'm going to line it up because, like, see here, the bottom points line up. If I were to start it right there, it would line up right there. So I'm gonna move it over to make it easier to see, but I'm gonna start this bottom piece right even with my other bottom piece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up 3, over 2, down 1, and then back to the beginning. And this is critical when you do a real orthographic projection. Your lines do line up with each other. So I should be able to draw kind of a line to show that they line up. So that's actually critical. And the other critical thing is that the right side view, if I'm looking at it from the right, we place it to the right of the object of the front view. That's just a standard we use. The Europeans are wrong. They put it on the other side. They pretend that you're shining a light on it and you see the shadow. Goodness gracious, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you go, this is what I see? I just don't get them sometimes. So I place it over to the right. So this is called your front view, and this is called your right view. Now it's getting a little messy here, so I'm gonna erase a bunch of stuff. Oh, not over here, sorry. I erased it in the wrong part. Because now I want to do that top view. And you'll see it works a lot like this one. So my top view is the long piece that lines up. So I can draw that. And then I'm going to show you a shortcut of what to do. So it's all the way across the front, and then it goes 2. And I draw that up above. And my all the way across the front has to line up with all the way across the front. And that only leaves me in one more direction to go. That's straight up. So you can see again that they kind of line up. Now, I have to actually move it because I have to have some room there. I'm gonna give myself a little extra room. I'm gonna do it up a little bit higher to start like way up here. And see how those line up. And those line up. All the way across the front has to line up with all the way across the front. Now let's take a look. My piece of paper is like right here, and it's got to be able to go down to match up with that. And so it's going to come out here until it can come all the way down to match up with that. And then all the way across the front is all the way across the front. Now, where does that go? The trick is, does that go on this upper side or this side? Okay. This line here lines up with this line, so we draw it closer to that line. And I see that it's 3. There it is. And again, these kind of line up. There, that's what I'm looking for right there. That's it. That's orthographics. And there's just 2 of them to do. I did a video of that one. You can do a video of this one. But hopefully that helps out. This is what it looks like when I look at it from the front. Right here. From the right. Right here. From the top. Right here. Now there's a few reasons for doing this. I can actually measure true dimensions from an orthographic view. Like that thing really is too long. It really is 5 from here to here. I could measure this and find out really how long is that, because I'm in what's called an orthographic view. 3.6056. How would you ever get that any other way? It's like, forget it. Okay, so that's what we've got going for this. Okay, any questions on that right now? And then I'm going to show you the next neat one that's on the side that you don't have to do, but I thought I'd show you. But do you have any questions on this at this point? Yes, Alicia. That one, so on this one, you do the top view. And on this one, you do the left view. Did that clear it up? I'm not sure if you had different ones. They might be labeled different in your, if you're looking at the CAD workbook. I label them according to what order I do things in specifically. So this is your resource folder. So I think I got it right. -5 is upper. Let me see. Maybe yeah, -5 is upper and 6 is left. Oh, because so it's the plate. And here's why. This one is made from this one. And so I'll go over how to do that at another time. But you can imagine that you could start with this one and just draw that line. And I do this one when I show you how to do solids, because it's so flipping cool how to do this with solids. But can you see over here that this one basically is this rectangle with this piece cut away, right? It's just cut into a triangle. And this one is the top piece cut away in a certain shape. And I like to teach this one using solids because you're already familiar with this. And quite frankly, I do almost all of my orthographics using solids these days because AutoCAD will just create these views for you. You want to just quickly see how that would work? I'm going to show you. This is so cool. I'm going to do this as a solid now really quickly. Okay, so I'm going to, that's a great question. It's like, whoa. I'm going to go into my solid modeling view. I'm going to go to here. And I could see that if I were just to pull this up 5, I'd have my part, right? I'd there's the part. So now I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to put it on a new layer. And here's my layers, new layer, and I'll make one called solid. And I'll make it red because it'll be easier to see. Now check this out. When I go to see it in conceptual, and I put that on my, get out of here. There we go. Put that on my red layer. It's really easy to see it, right? There it is. That's it. But I don't have it quite in the right place, so I'm going to rotate it. And I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees there. And I need to get my fronts lined up. Go with 90. There we go. So see my part? There it is, right? Isn't that cool? I've got a cool part. Now check this out. You're going to love this. Do you see how that's the same part? Front right top. I've got it lined up with front right top. I'm going to go to my layout, and I'm going to do something cool. I'm going to get rid of the view, and I'm going to do something called create a base model from my model space. It's going to think for a sec. And it's going to put it there. That's okay. And I'll put it there and there and there. And I have a complete orthographic drawing that fast. Is that the most awesome, cool thing you ever saw? So now you see why I don't take too much time to teach the fancy orthographics. I do enough so that you got the right idea of what you just found out here. That's all I'm really trying to do. So I take just the plain ones. Yes, Nazma. Yep. Yeah. This, you're going to get to do this in the last week or two of class if you choose to do mechanical drafting during that part. Right. Yeah, it's the same thing, right? I mean, Inventor in that respect works exactly like AutoCAD. As a matter of fact, AutoCAD used to have a lot of what Inventor has in it until Autodesk bought Inventor. And then they took it out of AutoCAD so that Inventor could be its own cool thing. And of course, we know that we don't really want to see it like that. We want to see isometric views, plane, all that kind of stuff. And it's just really fun. If you want to see a cut view, you can make sections. I love Inventor. I love doing this stuff. There we go. Cynthia, yes. Right. Okay. Okay. Perfect. I will show that in more detail. And so I'm going to make this big so that you can see it. And I'm going to go to the type of view that you're more likely to see it in, which is 2D. Okay, and I'm going to actually, so here I can see that this thing is sitting kind of in the way. And I've got my view all messed up here, so I'm going to go get this fixed up. There we go, a little bit better. So this thing's in the way and I don't want to see it anymore. So if I've got something on a layer that I don't want to see, I go up to this little layers box and I can click my little layer drop down, and then the light bulb turns it on or off. Off, on, off, on. This freezes it, which is almost the same thing, but it's for when you want to do it in a special way. So we will ignore it for now. And this lock will keep people from messing with it. Like now I can't move it because I locked the layer. And that's really nice if you don't want somebody to, if you want to make sure that you don't mess up what's on that layer. So that's how we go. Yes, Cynthia. Oh, okay. Let me show you how to do that too. So here, let's say I want this line and this line and this line to be on my solid layer. So I pick my lines and I click on it and I say, put it on my solid layer. Now those ones are on that layer so that if I turn it off, I don't see them. Another way to do that, yeah, go ahead. You don't have to, no, you just, so here I am, I go click and I'm done. So then I can hit escape or whatever to get out of it. And another way that I showed briefly, and some people like it, I got my, there we go, is to look at the properties box, and that's another place you can go to assign layers. So I can do it from the property box again, but this is really just an all-in-one view of what you see right up there. And I'm just going to hit escape now. There we go. So did that help out? Did that sort of clear it a little bit? Okay. Yeah. Left click, right click, and then I'm not positive. I mean, different. I use a Windows mouse, just a plain old Dell or Logitech. And like I couldn't find my mouse one day, so I went and grabbed a gaming mouse from my son. Oh my God, I couldn't draw with that thing to save my life. There was all these extra weird things and stuff. So, and then I've got a friend who draws with a Mac, and so it is sort of specific to what you're doing. One thing that you can do is you can also see if it pops up when you right click, select a line and right click. Like if you don't want to go up here, you can go to properties, right? And things like that. So it's sort of let you develop your own best way. So look, here it says all of those vary. So I can put them all onto one. And then like what you see me do sometimes is make a new layer, and don't worry about these. That's AutoCAD made those on purpose. Now I'll do line up, also called construction lines. And I'll make them blue just for fun. So now I know that I want to put some of those lines on there. I can highlight click, click, highlight. And then when I come up here, I can put those all on my construction line, which is really nice because this is good for me to know that I've got things lined up, and I'm going to move that out of the way. Yes, Cynthia. Yes, so this is called, yes, this is called your current layer, and whatever you draw will be on that. So if I go and change something, I can change it. And then as soon as I'm done changing it, it goes back. This is your current layer. If I draw, it will be on that layer. So now I'll draw another line. And you see it's still on. And I make that mistake all the time. I forget to reset my layer all the time. So to set that as current, let me turn this one back to there. To set a layer current, now let's say I want to draw a blue construction line again. I have to come here and I have to click on it over here on the right. Click. Now it shows in that little window as my current layer. So if I draw something now, it will be on that layer. It's there's a lot to it, isn't there? It's like, oh my gosh. And these are just tools. The use of these tools for different standards depends on what industry you're in. So people use this tool in so many different ways. Cynthia, you're doing just the right thing. You're going, okay, how do I actually do it? You'll figure out what to do with it another time. You just right now want to know how to do it. So click to change it, go up to the little arrow, and then pick a new layer. And then if you want that layer to turn off, it's the light bulb. And then you can turn the light bulb back on. So kind of cool. Does that mostly kind of sort of clarify it? Cool. Okay, so now, and I think I drew this, it was supposed to be 6, right? I'm going to show you one more cool thing with this and how orthographics work. So I'm going to do it over here. I am going to show that other cutout that we had. Not on this one, just so that you can get the idea of it. This little cutout would be, if I look at it straight from the top or the bottom, it's really just a square right here. Okay, and I can see that it is let's see, where do I have that? I'm going to guess I'll download it and show it. Oh, here it is over here. Okay, I know what to do now. There we go. This is the stupid old paint version from I don't know how long ago. Amazing, huh? So look, when we look at this thing, this cutout shape is really a square. And then you take it away. The trick is I don't really know to draw it over here. I don't really know where it is. You know, how long is that moving up? I don't know. So over here, I get to do a new cool thing. I get to come over 2 because I know it's 2 back. And go straight up. And then I know that that must be where it happens. So now let me come back and go from the intersection. That's how high it is. So that's a really cool trick that of orthographics, because we know things have to line up. Where the back wall of my cutout hits the surface, I can go straight over. But of course, it's way easier to do in solids. I'm going to show it to you back in solids again. And I made this the wrong amount. It was supposed to be 6. There it goes. Let's come back over here. Come on, show up. I don't know why it won't go to my layout. There it goes. Oh, and I moved stuff around and turned it all off. So I'm gonna do it over again. Okay. So now what's really cool is if I look at this, say from here, I see that little spot right back there. So I can draw let's see where I just drew that. There it is right there. And so now if I press pull that away, that will go away. That's what has to go away. So now I can subtract that. Subtract from my big piece, subtract my, why is that in stretch? Subtract. From the big piece, subtract that. Oh, there it is. Isn't that cool? So that's why I don't do, I mean, all this work that I did over here is really hard, right? I got to count back. I got to go up. I got to go over. Now I have to draw from here up to here. And I got to take snaps on. And I have to take snaps off. And it's just a lot of work. Then I have to trim. And then I have to do it up here too. So I get trying to teach orthographics. I really prefer to teach solids, and Nazma probably agrees. And that was just, yeah, that was just sort of an aside. Really, what I want you to do is this thing and just get the basic ideas. Cool? We had a little time, so I thought I'd show it. Any other questions for this week's work? Let's see. The third slide. I better go look at that and see what that's supposed to be. Here we go. This one right here. Oh, yeah. Okay. So what you're supposed to do on that one, let me go find one here. Oops, wrong class. So here's a previous drawing. So I just copied 4 previous drawings into one, or you can do them separately. So the idea is you take a drawing that you've already done and you show it on a layout with a title block. And I did this one. If you look at the video, the lecture video from Tuesday, I did this one to show it. And you do not need that part. And I don't care which title block you use. So you can use the one that you just made, or you can use one from the resource file. Okay, but literally you just copy one of the, or redraw it if you feel like it, and put it into your model. And I'll just do another one right here. Okay, so to do this, I need to have my title block. So I'll go look at, I'll do the one that I just made, and I'll make that an open drawing. And remember, if I type DC, I get to my design center. And if I look at the open drawings, I can look at layouts that I made. Here it is down here. And I can say, oh, I want my TBA to be in this one right here. So here's my TBA layout. Look at that, it's right there for me. When I'm in a layout, I can click on it, go to a rectangle in, double click, and then I can go and fit it how I want. And usually you try to use one of these scales that you've got, but we'll be talking about that later. You don't really need that. That's it right there. That does it. If you'd like to, you can put that on something called the def points layer. I think it already is on the def points layer. What do you know? But that's it in a very, very fast version to give you a little bit of an idea. So I just want 4 of them, and you're welcome to arrange them, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 2 on one page and duplicate it, and 2 on another, or 1 on each page. I'm just really interested that you can take your prior work and show it on a layout. Cool. Other good questions. These are all great. Anything else I can answer for the work this week. Okay. Then my hope for next week, but maybe not till week 8. My hope for next week is I'm going to pull a bunch of samples of submittals and show them so that you can sort of look to see how other people are doing it, but also just to prepare in your mind, especially if for those who were not able to get them all in, to get prepared for the midterm. The midterm, I do give a midterm in week 8. It's really just another portfolio, and it's sort of like a portfolio, and you'll just need to do the work and do some simple stuff. It's really pretty straightforward, and it should take you, I hope, half an hour to an hour just to do some draw. And it's really focused on drawings more than on the standard stuff. But there'll be a little bit. There'll be a little bit of layer work. Okay? You guys are making great progress. Next week are dimensions, and then you're set to really just start using this stuff. 6 to 8 weeks, and you've learned AutoCAD. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.